Thought I'd try to give you a close-up of how this back goes together. I usually pre-slide this little wedge in here, and I glue up this entire wedge, and then I make sure you don't get the plastic in here, so you kind of push the plastic away. You don't ever want plastic in between your joints. And then you get that started in the slot, and then I have a pusher stick. Where did I put the pusher stick? Well, I don't see it, so I'll use this. Okay, so, and then I just force it right into the slot on the far side there. Get in there. It's a tight one. There, you see how quickly it slipped in whenever it finally got in the slot. That might be a little bit tight. I usually don't make them that tight. Now we'll just use one of these. Make sure it's all the way in. That's pretty good. So that's the most difficult thing in this back section. And then I use one of these with the noses kind of pointed into each other and just clip the back of it together. And that's it. That's all I do there. And the rest is pretty cut and dried. But I did want to say that the weight difference that I mentioned on this commercial white ash ribs adds 5 pounds, almost 5 pounds to the entire wing. Would that be 5 pounds per wing? Yeah, that's 5 pounds per wing that it would add. That's quite a bit of weight in a small plane like this. So if you could go ahead and get white pine, northern white pine, or hemlock, or western hemlock, or western cedar. What is it? Western hemlock, I believe it's called. That's a direct 1-for-1. Poplar, yellow poplar's a real good one too. As I'm going, it's coming back to me. It's been a year and a half since I've built a rib, so it's coming back to me how I kept down all the glue dripping, and this is one of the times when I actually went from trying to glue the slots and lightly glue both edges, and then I dab a little bit that's beaded up on the end. That way you definitely get plenty of glue in there. Just get both sides and then use this excess here, wipe it up, and bead up on the ends. And this one here sometimes a little more difficult to get in. And what I have done is cut a little angle on this corner and then this corner of this, so I can slide it in. But it will spring up as it's coming in. Now this here needs clamped good and tight because this here sets your main wing spar. This is your main wing spar, goes right behind that. That's what keeps that rib good and straight. What are my other big clamps? Well, this one doesn't matter. The next one back in the next bay, it doesn't matter so much. And that'd be this one back here. This one doesn't matter so much. It just has to be held relatively straight. It has to be putting pressure on to give the shape of the wing, but it doesn't guide anything. Only the back one and this one guide the two spars. And that's it. So then I'll do one more. Where are we at? Well, let's go ahead and we'll start right at the front here. Although, now we'll start the next one back. There you go. That's why I hate these cups. Let's go with 2 and 3. 3 and then 2. Nope, 2 and then 3. Alright, so it's no good. First of all, I look to see which end. They're pretty close to the same angle. Might not even matter which end goes to which. But I believe that's it. So little glue on the edges. Nope, not even down on the viewfinder. And a bead on the end. And sink them in, make sure they go all the way in. Set a clamp over each end to make sure it stays in and doesn't push out of the slot as we're working here. I should have put a clamp on this since there's nothing holding it out here yet. As soon as I put this here beam in, then it's no problem. Same thing with this here. I don't glue both sides. I only glue the bottom, but I don't put it on thick. There you go. And this is tested. I mean, it's not like we're not sure how well that holds. Let's see, that's 2A. 1A, where's the, oh yeah, 3. We're just going to cross this with this. And again, we're just going to beat up the end. Get a little bit on the edges. Very little glue. That's too much. I'll wipe some off. And let's see. Let's see. How do we do this? Start on this side. That's kind of tight there. And then okay, let's go back with it a little bit. There we go. Okay, now one item that's kind of difficult is this here leading edge for this. And what I do is I go ahead and snip it off so that it's slightly long. Let's see, let me get this out of the way. To this corner right there and back here. You got to get it the exact length. And then I just take it over to sandpaper and sand this off. It goes fairly quick. And but you can use your snips to cut it. That's quick and easy. And you get a perfect shape on it simply by dragging it across 80 grit sandpaper, maybe 10 drags, and that'll be to size. And I guess you can watch me do this somewhat difficult process. I'm keeping this close in like this because I don't want any of that plastic wrap or saran wrap to get in between. Okay, and once you get it in there, then you get a strong clamp to hold it in. It's not going to work. Alright. I usually use a fat clamp though because where'd they all go? I guess we don't need this one. It's being spread apart by that bar. There we go. That gets us a nice wide grip, pulling it against these two straight edges. And let's go ahead and you can watch me put this here little tiny wedge in there. This is one that I also glue up the entire wedge. T88 just strengthens. It goes into the grains of the wood. It's not very deep, but it goes in and it really tightens them up, strengthens the wood. Of course, you don't want to do the entire plane, but certain structural things like this, you do. Oh no, you got my hat. Alright, you're being silly now. So, I have had them pull apart right here. Well, this is a lot of work to do to just waste it if this snaps apart right there. All I do is I put it back in this here jig here, this fixture, and then I gusset this with a real thin, some of those shavings that I get off my table saw that are real thin. I just gusset that, and then I get it in one side, and then I just, there we go, get it at an angle, and then I just go back and forth. Oh, come on, get up in there. Let's see. We'll use this here. There we go. You see that pop in there? Probably couldn't. All right. Anyway, that's now in there. Good. That's where did this one come from? Oh, I was just holding that. All right. So now we're going to get this corner piece that holds all of this and takes all the force. And there is a lot of downward force on the leading edge of a wing. There's a rotational moment twisting the leading edge down. So that's why there's so much strengthening up here in this leading edge. Well, the leading edge actually takes quite a bit of multi-directional forces, because that's where you have the most drag. That's where you have the most drag, is from right about here on up, well, just beyond, out of the camera view there, right there. That's where you have virtually all of your pressure against the leading edge, and therefore your rotational force. So you just force this in this corner here, make sure it goes into both pieces, and sometimes your slot doesn't line up just perfectly. You have to, and that's what I'm getting right here. There we go, got it in there. And now I'll put this piece in, put a clamp here, put a clamp there. I'll put a clamp here. That'll keep, where are we at? Can you even see my hand? Yeah. Put a clamp right there. Guess it tilted down on me. So